NetEvents 2011 APAC Press Summit in Langkawi, Malaysia. It's the industry's #1 meeting place for vendors, visionaries, press and analysts to network, share ideas and get up to speed on the latest information technology and business trends and issues. This year's theme was virtualization and cloud computing. And Steve Dietch, Hewlett Packard's Vice President of Cloud Infrastructure, was invited to close the first day's session with his views on what is really happening behind the hype, backed up with real-life data and examples from HP's massive customer base.
Business is just outrunning IT like the bejeebers right now. The business decision makers have seen the value of the cloud. Accelerated revenue, accelerate business processes, reduce your cost or optimize your cost envelope. Everybody's heard the urban legend about you take your American Express card if you're a developer and you go to Amazon's web services and for 12 US cents an hour you get a Linux virtual environment, and it's true. It's true. I've seen it myself. I've done it myself. You can. It's a very efficient way to develop. Maybe not for large enterprises, but if you're a small development shop, it's great.
Perhaps surprising after so much discussion on cloud security, it was only third on the quoted list of concerns, with 70% of CIOs rating it highly, whereas the #1 fear was of vendor lock-in. Openness is key, as Steve goes on to explain.
When you look in the marketplace today of there's hundreds, if not thousands of vendors that are delivering cloud solutions today, but they're only delivering a piece of it, a partial solution, virtual only, an appliance, doesn't scale, et cetera, et cetera. What is going to happen, mark my word, is you will not only have data center sprawl, virtualization sprawl. If vendors and customers continue to go down this approach, you will have, wait for it, cloud sprawl. You will have a multitude of solutions in your data center or in your remote locations from different vendors, and you're going to be exactly where you were before with the complexity and the cost that you have today. Bringing you back to reality, I believe the best approach is to deliver an integrated system that delivers all of those requirements I mentioned on the previous page, yet it's open. Important. It's open, it supports heterogeneous capabilities, and it supports private, public, and hybrid models, all in one integrated system. Don't you want to have a cloud that supports not only private, public, and hybrid environments? Why do you need separate cloud environments? Don't you want to be able to have a unified services view or manage all of your services across your private cloud? You're grabbing your public cloud services, Salesforce.com, as well as your traditional IT. Wouldn't you want to manage all that under a single umbrella? You don't want to have that fragmented. Don't you want to support the broadest set of applications?
Presenting the Hewlett Packard cloud system approach, an integrated system from one source that is open to allow best-of-breed technology and supports heterogeneous capabilities, he went on to give examples of successful case studies from around the world.
Here's a sample of them, some of them out in this region, including Mahindra out of India. SFR deployed an infrastructure as a service based on that technology you saw on the previous slide. What they're doing is they are delivering infrastructure as a service to 150,000 customers in France. Self-service, you can go pull down a Windows or a Linux environment in a matter of minutes and run with it. Carnegie Mellon, for those of you that remember your university days, every department has a different infrastructure. If you're in the physics department, you're in the math department, you're in the, name your department. Maybe not the English department, but everybody had a different infrastructure, and lo and behold, it was highly underutilized. What they did is they deployed a centralized private cloud for research, self-service, built it for the right set of demands, and each department now taps into that centralized private cloud and picks services out of the catalog. And they deployed that in 30 days. So does everybody know what a credit score is when you apply for a loan? FICO essentially developed all of the algorithms and provide you your credit score. So what FICO did is they had a fragmented environment everywhere. They created a centralized private cloud for all of their analytics and detection applications that's all self-service and optimized as well. They deployed that private cloud with that integrated approach in 90 days, start to finish, development to production.
Time for analyst Tim Dillon, IDC's Assistant Vice President of Research, to sit down with Steve and chair the Q&A session. They discussed the fact that the global financial crisis had stimulated thoughts of cost saving, and so hastened the onset of cloud computing. However,
I think if somebody goes in looking to deploy a cloud with the top reason being cost savings, I think they're going to be very disappointed.
So what should come back to that? If I'm saying to you, drop my cost 30%, your response is going to be what?
Well, so I think cost is one element of it, an optimal cost envelope and having an optimal mix of IT, whether it's private, traditional, and hybrid. I think mostly it's agility and speed, speed to revenue, time to revenue. Yeah. It's also flexibility to plan for unpredictable business demands. I think that's really when you look at the elasticity of the cloud and the flexibility of the clouds, I think those will bubble to the top. And cost needs to be in there, but it's almost as cost is sort of in the third position in my mind.
From the floor, Frost & Sullivan's Vijay Nath asked,
what percentage of your existing customers do you anticipate or expect to transition to cloud-based platforms the next 2 to 3 years?
So let me utilize, because HP has a pretty wide spectrum of customers. Everybody from the, Fortune 500 down to you bought a printer probably from us, I'm guessing. When I look at the enterprise segment of the market, I anticipate almost every single enterprise customer moving to some sort of hybrid compute model. Public, private, hybrid, and traditional IT. We see that. How fast that's going to happen, I think we're in for a very long journey. As I think Tim was saying, this is a journey, it's a pragmatic, stepwise approach, and people are not, people never move as fast as you think they're going to move. But they will move. Like I said, this is not a paradigm shift. It's a secular trend, and there's distinct business value, and people see it.
So, was HP helping customers to identify what should move to the cloud and what should stay in-house?
Let me give you one piece of wisdom based on very recent lesson learned. If a customer moves rapidly to the cloud and tries to do too much, let me use enterprise company X. I've seen it 10 times in the last 3 months. I'm in. IT organization, we've got to move really fast because I want to impress the CFO that we can establish credibility and ROI really quickly. What they do is they deploy a private cloud and they try to do too much too fast, including moving legacy applications and legacy infrastructure into the cloud environment. So they come almost hybrid, heterogeneous. Mistake. It becomes a colossal mess. Just imagine, anytime you do legacy transitions infrastructure, it's always going to take you longer and cost more. And what that does, it doesn't allow that IT or that CIO to prove credibility and return on investment very quickly. My advice to every customer I see, if you want to move to the cloud, and mostly everybody's going to move to a private cloud first, carve off something that you want to do, particularly dev test, set up a separate environment, do that really well, do it very fast, prove ROI to your CFO, and then move forward.
So our assembled audience of IT movers and shakers was left with one final piece of advice on the move to cloud computing.
And the other words of wisdom is, if you're going to screw things up, screw them up really quickly. So your lessons learned, and then you just start over again. And a lot of people will screw up.
Or, if you'd rather not screw things up, take our advice and download your own copy of the full transcript of Steve's presentation and accompanying slides from the NetEvents website. Check www.netevents.org.